Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. My topic is diabetic feet and diabetic footwear. As you know that diabetic condition is growing day by day, and that is affecting human health, human organs, human systems, and feet are no more exception. So diabetic patient, they have normally reduced blood circulation in the feet. That means that they have numbness or they have reduced sensation in the feet. That can also cause weakness in the muscle, stiffness in the joints, pressure sores, ulcers, infections, wounds, and sensitive skin, sometimes which is very prone to breakdown. And then eventually all these factors meet and they cause collapse of the foot. That means the foot structure is getting collapsed and the patient is no more able to walk normal on his foot. Now, to prevent all these issues, we have to help patients to walk normally, and for that purpose we give them diabetic footwear and other accessories so we can help them to bear their body weight safely without injuring themselves and without causing any pressure sores, ulcers in their feet, and without fatigue and with maximum comfort. Now, diabetic footwear is basically, it has some sort of criteria, and you have to understand that this criteria has to be met if you want to control any deformation in diabetic patients. Now, as sensation is an issue in diabetic patient, it is extremely important that we take care of that. Because of reduced sensation, we have to put minimum pressure on the foot. For that purpose, all the diabetic shoes, you will find them that they will come with a stiff sole. Stiff sole means that the foot is stable, it is balanced, and the patient can bear weight with more confidence. Diabetic shoe will come also with a reasonable heel height to help the patient to take step. So that is good for ambulation purposes. Then diabetic shoes will be normally coming with a Velcro strapping. That is easy to operate. It is easy for geriatric cases, and it is very practical than laces for diabetic shoes. Diabetic shoes will be very deep and very spacious. That means that their toe box will be very wide and the toe box will be high to make sure that the toes of the patient are relieved, relaxed, no cramping inside. So that means no injuries and no blisters. Most diabetic shoes, they will have a very proper diabetic insole inside, which is normally a diabetic insole. That means that it has a memory foam on the top. It has a multi-layers. The top layer is a memory layer that does not cause any pressure sore. It is very skin friendly and it is causing no friction, and it is supportive, and you can see also the medial arc developed here, but you can customize this one as per your patient requirement, for the reason to give him more comfortable bedding inside the shoes and to realign his feet and to make it like a shock absorber. It can be washed and you can put also in other shoes. Now, some shoes they are also little snugly fitted and they look nice, but still the forefoot part, you can see that is very wide and the toe box is very high. So again, the idea is to make sure that no injury to the forefoot. Now remember, all the injuries are normally to the toes first and then to the leg and then other part of the body. So it is very important that we take care of the toes to keep them very safe inside the shoes. Now in most diabetic shoes, again, you will see the heel part quite stiff. It is for the calcaneus stability. Now most diabetic shoes will have also anti-slip layer at the base. That means they should not get slipped easily. So the patient is very much safe. So all the shoes they will have anti-slip layers on the tires and marble in particular. They will not get slip. Now some patients, they don't prefer the closed shoes, so they opt for the sandals. If you opt for the closed shoes, then make sure that the interior of the shoe, that means inside the shoe, it is very much smooth and it has no stitches, no cuts of leather, no sharp edges that can easily damage the skin of the patient, and that can cause more problems. So whenever you recommend closed shoe to your patient, always open the shoes, put your hand inside the shoe and see everywhere inside the shoe. There are no sharp edges are there inside the shoe. And along with this, you should also use diabetic socks for your patient, which are normally woolen covered socks in the foot area for better comfort, no irritation, and especially the calf band of these socks is very wide, so no sharp cut and no blood circulation issue in the because of the socks. So some patients, they opt for the sandals on daily basis, so they can use sandal, but again with the special diabetic insole, which you can put it inside. And these sandals are normally adjustable because some feet, they have swelling issues, so you can adjust these straps easily to help the patient to have less pressure inside the sandal. So you see it has a very nice heel raise that help the patient to take the step easily, and they're quite stiff for better stability. And then we have also for ladies same system of slippers, and these slippers, they have a nice footbed inside, which is also called insole, but this insole can be modified for shock absorption, for realignment, for better balance of the foot, and especially in diabetic where there is more modification needed. For example, if there's any pressure points, you can modify the insole to relieve that point and then to take the pressure to other part of the foot. So these shoes are also coming with the stiff soles for better stability, high resilient, and you see the sole is also anti-slip, and they are very good for the tiles and marbles and cemented place. Now other shoes are also available with the closed heels. That means again more stability, especially for geriatric cases. So for older ladies, always recommend shoes with the closed back. They are more stable, and even if they have knee problem, it is also helpful for the knees, because calcaneus deviation cause straight away stress on the knees. So it is good for their feet as well as knees. So you can see a very reasonable heel height, and again very stiff sole. Inside these shoes, they have also special insoles. It is flexible, it's not a harder one, but still if needed, then we can make a soft one for diabetic patients to reduce the pressure soles or to help them to realign their feet. And these support, they also cause less fatigue, so the patient don't get tired easily when they are balanced. They don't struggle with their shoes, and they are very helpful. Now sometimes we also recommend these kind of devices for the patients. Now these are silicone socks, and these silicone socks are basically it is worn inside the house by the patients, and if the patient is walking inside the house, it is very practical and it is very safe, so you can just wear them in a very normal way. So the foot is also inside anti-slip base, so inside is very soft silicone, so there's no injury chances. So it is used like in a place where there are very colder places in the winter, so it is very useful. It's all covered with cotton. For older ladies, it's ideal. Now some patient they may not have foot collapse, so we don't need to make them customized support. Then we can give them the silicone soles. Now the silicone soles, they are very comfortable. They have shock absorption. They don't cause any pressure sores, and they can also improve blood circulation. And the patient feel very relieved with this. Again, less fatigue. So these silicone soles are available in the market in different sizes, different types, different densities, even different thicknesses. Like this is very thin, so it can be put in different shoes, and these are quite thick, so they're comfortable, but they may need more space. So that is their advantage. Now, diabetic feet, they have also sometimes toes issues. So, for example, they have claw toes. Then we use these silicone crescents to prevent any flexion deformity of the toes. And sometimes some toes are very sensitive. They have some sort of like, let's say, some sensitive parts, or they have some blisters. Then we use these silicone caps. So these silicone caps are just worn over the toes, so they are safe inside the shoes. They are very practical. And sometimes silicone spacers are used to avoid any overriding of the toes, especially, or to prevent any bunion issues in this area. So these spacers are placed between the fourth and the first and the second toes, sorry, to control the hallux valgus and the bunion. This also, they don't cause any sort of pressure point, they don't cause any trouble to the patient. So all these things are for diabetic patients for mobilization purposes, and especially to prevent any sort of pressure sores and skin problems or any injuries to the foot. So it is very important that all these devices are used on the right time, and to prevent any issues in the foot, because once the diabetic patient, they get some issues, it takes really long time to treat them, and then their mobility is affected. So when their mobility is affected, then they really go in depression, because when a person cannot walk, or when he feels that he can't walk because of different reasons, that anxiety and depression, that is part of life, and that can be avoided if you take a preemptive measures against all these issues. So God bless you, and God bless your patient. Thank you.